Hey, True Believers, Englentine here with another episode of Marvel vs. DC. It's been a long time since I've done one of these, and yeah, I'm a little backed up here, but I am catching up, and there's a lot of books. As you see the covers passing by, these are the ones that are going to be reviewed. Now, for those of you new here, it's very simple. All the covers you see passing by you, I have read, I've reviewed, just a little short one to give you an idea whether it's good or bad, a little 30 to 40 second review, and I've ranked. 1 star is horrible. 2 stars bad, 3 stars average, 4 stars good, and 5 stars excellent. And then, of course, decided, hey, you know what, just for fun, let's put Marvel versus DC, see who wins the week, and that's the fun part to me, of course. Of course it is. Of course it is. Now, full disclosure here, I am a huge DC Comics fan, but when I read the comics, I have to, in order to preserve the integrity of this particular show, read every book with an open mind. And while I love the DC comic book characters more, sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. That is just the way that the cookie crumbles. Anyway, I hope you got the gist of it. I hope you enjoy. And before we get started, let me remind you to click like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Don't forget to comment, because that helps out the algorithm. It helps out the channel. And also, if you don't mind helping out the channel, go on over to Patreon or to Ko-Fi, drop $1 in the till. And you can even commission a video from me on Ko-Fi, where in any of the categories that I do videos on, you could say, hey, do this. And I will do that. I will dance, monkey dance. So anyway, without further ado, let's get this party started. The 1-star books are horrible and should be avoided at all costs. War of Realms number 5. This book was so bad it took me 4 hours to read. Seriously, I could have probably been done with the reading list that I gave myself. This was horrible. This is a book that wanted to make sure that everybody was in play, that they were tying in. It's a compilation book of little stories from every tie-in. And each character shows up just for an instant so they could say their catchphrase. And wait a second, is Doctor Strange riding in the Ghost Rider's car without the Ghost Rider? That's not how that works. That's not how that works. Oh, my goodness gracious. This is a mess of a book. It sucked. This book flat out fucking sucked. The 2-star books are bad. Thankfully, there's a saving grace that kept them from being horrible, but still not good to read. Female Furies number 5. It's not good. You know it sucks. I know it sucks. It hasn't been good since issue number 1. In this case, I'll tell you why. It's because every line of dialogue, every panel, everything goes towards the idea that women are weak, they have no agency, and things will only prove if men change. And of course, all men are evil, and every bit of dialogue goes towards all men are evil and treat men bad, or treat women bad. The perception of weakness in women from this book, from Cecil Castellucci, is amazingly overblown, and that's what keeps this book one note all the way through. Uncanny X-Men number 19, great cover, I love it, I really do, is a book that shows you that good editing is necessary. In this case, you've got a book that is made bad by choppy editing. There's a scene here where after Emma Frost is let go by the government, the very next page is, you should have come when we called. Well, yeah, guys, you're missing something here, because we never had that transition where she was telling the government to go screw themselves or whatever. It just shows, like I said, bad editing can ruin a book, and this book was ruined. Captain America number 11. So there's a jailbreak. I actually didn't mind Captain America number 10. Didn't think it was great, but at least it wasn't bad. And this one, oh my gosh, they send in a lot of the female heroes to save Captain America, to break him out of prison. And they're calling each other Hectai and Gaia. And wow, it's cheesy as hell. The dialogue is sparse. The thought balloons are sparse, but at least they're cheesy and clunky. It's not good writing at all, and this the art is actually decent, and I like the cover, but the actual writing is not all that great. There's even one line where he's trying to justify the fact that he's working alongside the wrecking crew, you know, and he brings up, I fought along with the Russians to beat the Germans, so I'm not that pure. Yeah, I don't think anybody would refer to themselves like that. The Wonder Twins seems to be the kind of book that they laid out a whole bunch of ideas that didn't really fit together and decided, okay, let's put them in a book, but it didn't come out in any kind of coherent style. Here we have a really fun character. He's a magician. And then you have ideas like this businessman is evil, and here is a kid in chains painting soccer balls to show you how evil he is. It doesn't fit. The tones aren't the same there. And I think that's one of the biggest problems with the Wonder Twins. It's they've got a message to tell, and Mark Russell is usually a good writer, but he has a message to tell, but he just doesn't know how to tell it using these characters. Batman number 73. Alrighty, yes, another issue. I'm so excited. Not really. So I'm reading this and I'm thinking, who the hell is that? Seriously, Batman is not Batman in this book. He's not even Bruce Wayne. This is not the characters we've come to know. This is, like I said, he's deconstructed to the point of not being able to recognize who Bruce Wayne is even. At this point, we have Batman's dad, Tom Wayne. He's taking him across the desert. Batman wakes up. He's got a lot of questions. Apparently, they're going to Ra's al Ghul so they could put his mom into the Lazarus pit. Nothing really happens here. Nothing at all. It's time to end. Superman Year One by Frank Miller and John Romita Jr. is a bit of a mixed bag, and I said in a longer review that I believe we always give Frank Miller a chance, yet for the last 20 years he's proven that we shouldn't. It's an uncomfortable book, and by that I mean it's about a character I don't care for. Clark Kent in this particular issue is not a likable character. Otherwise, I find the book to be really flat, and at a point I was asking, will it ever end? It's 68 pages long, and I felt every page of it. When you're reading a good book, it just seems like it goes by really quick. But this one, what a slog this was. And I really do think it comes right down to the fact that we're not reading about Clark Kent. We're reading about, I don't know, someone. There's even a scene where it's a creepy scene between baby Clark and Jonathan Kent where he says, I will let him think it's his idea to take care of me. That's just creepy, guys. The Black Cat number 1. Okay, we've all heard it. Imitation is the best form of flattery. I understand this. And Catwoman's amazing creation. We all know this. But Black Cat used to have her own personality. In this case, she's Catwoman. I mean, okay, the book is exciting. It's got its appeal, but overall, it's Catwoman. It might as well be drawn by Joelle Jones and written by, well, Joelle Jones. It's Catwoman. That you're getting exactly the same thing as you would if you bought the DC title. Miles Morales, Spider-Man, number 7. So this is a kind of a book I want to like more than I do. Like this issue right here, the whole point of it is for him to have brunch with his parents where he learns they're pregnant, but there's an action scene thrown in, and it really does seem like, oh shoot, we have a talking issue. We need to throw some sort of action into it, and it ends up feeling very disjointed. I don't know. If they're going to be pushing Miles Morales, it'd be nice if they wrote a comic book worthy of him. Justice League number 26 is more setup. Like in 25, the end of the issue, we got some of the villain. This is just continuing what we got there, and we know where they're going. And what ends up happening is we're waiting to get there. It's not badly written. It's just poorly paced. I don't think this is a necessary issue, in all honesty. Maybe that'll pan out later, but for now, it's kind of boring. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is a little bit confusing to me because this is exactly the kind of book I would like as a kid. Seriously, it's good people wanting to help, the bad people wanting to stop them, and just like when I was a kid, the bad people are business people while the good people are the poor. You get the point. In this case, it seems like the business people are against gentrification, which I'm like, yeah, that happens never. It's very simple in what it's trying to say, and I think that's the best term for it. It's simple. Enjoyable, yes. Simple, absolutely. Nightwing number 61. Nightwing, unlike Miles Morales, is a book I want to hate more than I do. I hate the concept of Rick Grayson. I really do. And the fact that they have him where he's like, well, I don't want to be a superhero, but he's always acting like a superhero, it's freaking stupid. Yet the dialogue, the pacing, the art, everything is good. So this is a well-made book about a character that's been destroyed. I like Dan Jurgens. I like his writing. What can I say? It's just, they need to return him back to Nightwing. However, I don't know if I would get rid of the Nightwings. I kind of am growing on the idea of them. Justice League number 25 is kind of like two stories in one, but it really is just a continuation. That's how they play it out, though, like it's two stories. I do like the second half better than the first half, where they're talking about the beginning of the year of the villain rather than the ending of the sixth dimension. The sixth dimension storyline is still good, but I don't know. As much as I liked it, I also think there's a little bit of been there, done that with it. And overall, the whole sun batsuit thing, I was like, it's kind of like a Deus Ex Machina sort of issue. Overall, it's a really good story, and I would recommend it. I just think it stuck the landing, but it was a bumpy one. Amazing Spider-Man number 23 is a bad ending to a good story, and I really have enjoyed this story. But we have the son of Kraven becoming Kraven, and in the end, it's like, hey, everything's changed, but here's Kraven the Hunter, and he looks exactly like the old one, and we'll never speak of the death of the old one again, because it's like they changed everything, but nothing at all. So it's just a big circle. Deathstroke number 44 is really Jericho's story. He sees himself as having some of his mom and dad, of course, in him, and he wants to prove himself, so he decides to take down the villains at Deathstroke's funeral, and it's an okay story. It's a good story. It's a little bit confusing with all the jumping around from hero to hero and everything, but otherwise, I was entertained by it. I hope they keep Deathstroke dead, and the only thing I didn't like was the tag for the next issue is who's the next Deathstroke? No one! If you're going to kill a character, let him be, and let him be dead, and that's why you don't kill characters willy-nilly. Event Leviathan has potential. I want to read the story of Event Leviathan. I don't think I want to read it written by Brian Michael Bendis. This is an information dump. It's poorly paced. It's dialogue after dialogue after dialogue. Oh, here's a scene of action showing you what we just used in the dialogue before and what we'll use in the dialogue after. Everything you see as far as the action is concerned is explained to us before and after. It's really ridiculous. Once again, great premise. Want to read it, but this is a poor execution. This is an information dump. And like I said, it just kills the momentum of the story, and we're just getting started. I like it. I'm going to give it a 3-star. It should be 4 or 5. Brian Michael Bendis, man. Okay, so we're back to Age of Rebellion books where blah, 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 hate the number 1 numbering. Okay, let's get on with it. Luke Skywalker. This is, of course, before the events of Return of the Jedi, and we actually get to see how much of Luke's life the Emperor is really being the puppet master towards. I enjoyed that. The writing is a little flat. There's not a lot of... it seems like there's a lot of plot and not a lot of story in the book. So I have read better, but this one is still at least good. Justice League Odyssey number 10. This is a book that's kind of like an MVP that nobody notices. They make every catch, they make every play, yet doesn't get the limelight other things do. Here we have the team worried about, of course, Corey's power level. They wonder if they're doing the right thing by collecting all this these artifacts for Darkseid, even though they plan to betray him in the end. It's just a really good and intense issue. And it's a lot of fun kind of watching Jessica Cruz have to deal with things with a waning power ring. It adds a little bit more tension to the proceedings. Star Wars TIE Fighter. Now, I've lived in Thailand. They draw Thai people improperly here, I guess. Anyway, the story is basically the TIE squadron has to regain control of a Star Destroyer for the Empire. And it's It's an entertaining story. It's got some really good space battles. I love the art in this. I like the way it switches loyalties. I mean, you've got the TIE Squadron destroying Rebel fleets, and we were on their side in that last series, right? What's going on here? It's just a very well-written story that seems to be going under everybody's radar here. Batman and the Outsiders #2. At first, I wasn't liking this because it's kind of an information dump, which we also got with the first issue. We know the characters. Let's get on with the story. You're writing for the trade. Move it, you know. But then, I don't know, it just kind of grew on me. Now, granted, the lead female character in this, Fragile, I think they're calling her, has that stupid-ass shaved side haircut that turns me off right away on a comic book. But overall, the book is good, and I can overlook it for now. Savage Sword of Conan #6 is a revenge story. Conan has killed some guy's father, so he drugs him and has him sold on a slave ship. Conan ends up in the gladiator pits. You can see where this is going, right? And it's partly that kind of simplicity that makes Conan awesome. It's a sword and sorcery. Let's cut people in half. At one point, he cuts a body in half, and you actually see the ponytail fall as well. It's just awesome. Shazam #6. His father returns, just as it says on the cover here, and I will say that though with air quotes. Anyway, this is a book that I've heard it's divisive. People hate it, people love it. I think it's old school fun. I really do. The Marvel family is separated, so some of them are still left in their game world. And on the outside, of course, Mary Marvel makes a reveal that looks like it's going to have some weight to stories coming up. I'm very interested in finding out what happens in issue #7. Adventures of Super Sons. So the cover has nothing to do with what goes on inside. However, this is such a fun book. This is the big battle. It's the battle royale between the Super Sons and their team, basically. And, of course, Rex Luthor and his recreations of Earth's supervillains, and it's a doozy. It's a lot of fun. There is a twist ending that I kind of liked, but just because it shows the awesomeness that is Rex Luthor. This is really, come on, guys. This should be canon. Bendis needs to be fired, and Tomasi needs to be replaced in the Superman titles. And this is such an awesome book. Spider-Man Life Story #4, the 90s. Like I said, I've been enjoying this immensely. This miniseries is awesome. I've been digging it quite a bit. This issue deals with the Clone Saga and ends up turning Peter Parker into somewhat of a jerk. Seriously, the ending, I'm like, wow, you just really kind of screwed Ben Reilly, didn't you? Overall, it still is really good writing, and I did dig the twists in the storyline. It's one you should be checking out, and this book is still entertaining. Once again, though, they did turn Peter Parker into a jerk in this issue. Supergirl #31. I keep saying this is this is a lot of fun. It really is. Supergirl's improved a lot this time around. It looks like we're putting an end to this whole Rogal Zal thing, where it looks like the Superman, Superboy, Crypto, Supergirl all put them down. And man, I can't wait for the day that they retcon it right out of existence as well. That would be fun. But for what we have right here, great battle. Supergirl's proven to be a badass, and it's just, like I said, it's tons of fun. Check it out. The Immortal Hulk #19. Sometimes I still have to wrap my head around the horror nature of this comic book, because we're dealing with not the Abomination, but he is the Abomination doing not Abomination things to the Hulk. It's an exciting issue, and it's really good. And when Betty Ross comes in, it's like, oh my gosh, head explode kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun. I can't say anything bad about it, except for these are not the characters we're used to. Detective Comics 1005. Okay, this is intense, and it's done well. Tomasi's a great comic book writer. I'm just going to say that right out here. He does an entire battle issue, and still you get character. That is awesome comics. In this case, of course, it's Batman versus Arkham Knight and her troops, and he really fights Doc Phosphorus in this one, and it's an intense battle, and that's just on the art right there. Got to give that to Brad Walker, because he's really doing something special here, and you could feel exactly how intense this battle is just based on that. Really good issue. Been enjoying Detective Comics quite a bit. Yeah, recommend it. Deceased number 2. I understand that this book has its detractors, but I am not one of them. I'm enjoying the story, obviously outside of canon. This one, of course, has a place, it has something happen that hits you in the heart. Guys, except for the takedown of Aquaman, which I don't believe he's dead, I dug everything in this book. In all honesty, it's just it's a thrill. I mean, it's DC zombies, same as Marvel zombies, but man, I kind of like this one better. Teen Titans number 31. Wow, this was impressive. I have to say, I thought they were going to play it up. I thought it was going to be a fun issue. I really did. You know, just kind of almost played for comedy. Lobo really wants to kill Crush. I mean, it is a brutal fight in some instances. That really took me off my game on this one. I was like, oh, okay, but hey, I'm in. Bring on the next issue, man, because this one was cool. This was Lobo being Lobo from the 90s. Savage Avengers number 2. So the first book came out, and I did not give it a good review. I thought it was kind of dull. I thought it was one note. Wow, issue number 2 kind of makes me eat crow. I got to tell you, I liked it. I liked the art. I liked the look of the book. The writing is on point. They kind of... if this issue was the first one, because this is the setup issue, it really is, I think I would have come into this one a lot more excited. As it is, loved it. Can't wait for issue number 3 now. Invaders number 6. I've said it before, I'll say it again. This is the story that should have been the summer crossover, but I'm afraid actually stretching it out may have hurt it. But War of Realms, does not excite me the way this book does. I love the art. I love the colors used in it. I do prefer the time in World War II than modern, but still, it's the modern stuff that gets the blood boiling, where you're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for the next issue. And in honesty, I can't. Hawkman number 13 it's good. It's a good book, but it's Hawkman. Hawkman's always good, or at least it has been so far. In this case, we're dealing with a single issue story. I enjoy that. You know, let's just have it contained, where we're seeing Hawkman learn about some of his lives when he's been in war, and specifically one that became a hero for doing something weird. But yeah, it's hard to describe without giving a spoiler away. Just, this is a book you should be reading. It really is. Incredible Hulk Last Call. I read this after the Spirit Awards. I really did. I love this book. Peter David and Dale Keown. This is basically a recap of everything that happened in the 90s, or actually before that as well. But wow, what a great reminder that we should go back and check out some awesome Hulk stories. Definitely the Peter David run is worth seeing. It's the best of the Hulk runs, in my opinion. And wow, just... this book is really good. It is very, very good. Holy shiitake mushrooms, the Green Lantern number 8. Okay, I've been like off on this book. It has not thrilled me at all for the past 7 issues. This one comes along. The art style is in the style of Neil Adams in the 70s. The storytelling is in the style of the 70s. This is one of the best Bronze Age books to be released today. It's so much fun. I loved this issue. I mean, this is oh my gosh. I hope that the next issue has this much fun to it, because this was thoroughly entertaining and enjoyable. So there you go, gang. Those are the reviews. That's the countdown, and yes, they were in order from worst to best. But let us find who wins the week. Is it Marvel or DC? DC Comics had 0 1 stars, 4 2 stars, 5 3 stars, 9 4 stars, 1 5 star for a score of 64. With 19 comics, it gave them an average of 3.36. Marvel, on the other hand, had 1 1 star, 2 2 stars, 4 3 stars, 7 4 stars, 1 5 stars, a score of 50 with 15 comics and an average of 3.33. Which means DC wins the week, and I'm kind of surprised at that, because they had, even though Marvel had a 1 star, DC had more 2 stars. There you go, gang. That was the countdown. DC won the week. What do you think? What do you think I reviewed wrong? What do you think I I graded too low? What do you think I graded too high? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you like these videos, please click like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, of course. That's very important. Don't forget to comment, leave some sort of interaction. That helps with the algorithm, and YouTube has crashed this channel, and I need that kind of help right now. If you don't mind helping out the channel financially, by all means, go on over to Patreon or to Ko-Fi, drop $1 in the till, and if you want a specific video made, maybe a review, a comic book origin, a history of, a top 10, you could commission a video at Ko-Fi. Thank everybody who's already done that, and to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.